An Auberry man will stand trial for a stabbing attack nearly 2 years ago that left his mother injured and her boyfriend dead. Action News reporter Kate Nemeritz is live in studio tonight with details from the courtroom. Kate?
Margot, tensions ran high as the judge ruled there is enough evidence to send Breton Begay to trial for murder and attempted murder. His defense attorney pushed back, saying the evidence and testimony warranted lesser charges. For several minutes, the two debated, but the judge ultimately stood firm in her decision.
Premeditated attempt.
A judge's ruling turned to a debate with counsel Wednesday morning.
Just because he is unsuccessful with his attempt to kill her doesn't mean that that negates the intent.
I'm saying nature of injury does not support that he was trying to stab her. That's what I'm trying to say.
Okay, I disagree with that.
Judge Heather Mardell Jones handed down her ruling in a Fresno County courtroom containing only the people required to be present. She ultimately decided the evidence presented supports both a murder charge and attempted murder charge with enhancements against 31-year-old Breton Begay. He is charged with the November 2021 stabbing of his mother Patricia and murder of her boyfriend 50-year-old Owen Hancock, known as Kiki. Begay's attorney, Curtis Sock, argued the evidence proves Begay did not try to murder his mother, but that she was hurt trying to protect her boyfriend.
But he did not do anything to Patricia other than her hands got in his way of stabbing Kiki.
The judge disagreed.
Simply because it was a slashing wound instead of a stab to her heart doesn't negate the intent of your claim.
During the back and forth, Begay, whose face Action News is not allowed to show, sat looking at the table. Over the past 2 days, law enforcement and the defendant's mother testified as to what happened the night of the stabbing.
There was no arguments until she was walking back to her room with a sandwich.
Then what was the argument about when she was in the bedroom?
It started out when she walked past him. He called her an idiot.
Begay has pleaded not guilty by reason of insanity, his mental health history at the forefront of the defense's argument. Detectives testified Begay's mother told them he was off his medication and drunk the day of the stabbings.
She said specifically that when he's not on his medication and he uses substances, he can get violent and aggressive.
Begay's mother also testified on Tuesday that when he was 18, Begay went to prison and received psychiatric care for a knife attack that significantly injured his father in another incident in Inyo County. Begay is being held on a more than $2 million bond. He's due back in court on November 16th. If convicted on all charges, he could spend up to 69 years to life in prison. Warren, Margot?